another appointment.
All right, you're on.
Okay, it's Monday, December 9th. Selectmen's meeting. Calling it to order, and the first order of business is to salute the flag. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any public input?
Yes, I have.
You're on the agenda,
I'm on the agenda. Oh, okay.
I'll
Great.
put yours first.
so you don't
Okay,
get to
thank
be public
All
today.
right.
Yeah, Fran?
Yes, I'd like to respond to the selectmen's request that I make up a list of things for the 19 Mile Bay Beach. And I have it here, and I want to read it into the record if I could.
Sure.
Suggestions regarding the 19 Mile Bay Beach project 2019 and 20. Provide an area for hand launching of kayaks, canoes, avoiding dragging these crafts over the lake on the rocks and coarse sand. My intent is to avoid causing damage to the kayaks and canoes to provide lake entry away from swimmers. The design and the ramp should keep in mind that it will be used as an entrance and exit to the lake for swimmers, as well as access for winter activities on the ice. The height of the new retaining wall is nearly 20 inches, and it will be somewhat difficult for many swimmers, young or old, with disabilities, to step down and up from the beach to the lake. Bare feet walking across these grades and stones may encounter pain and discomfort. I make these suggestions because this is the Tufton Borough's most developed and used outdoor recreational facility, and consideration for multi-use and seasonal use must be taken into account. I ask again that you make these plans available to the public for comment and input before construction begins. Not all information is known to the contractor for this project, thereby creating changes that place additional burdens on the taxpayers.
Okay, great, thanks. You need a copy of this? Or do
You may have that if you wish.
Great.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, review of minutes, December 2nd, Monday, 9 a.m.
I was all set.
I didn't have any changes.
Do I hear a
I'll move
motion?
approval. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I think that's all we had. We're not
Yep.
Friday's minutes yet.
Nope, not even close.
All right, first appointment is Mr. Hurt on the reclassification of Willand Road.
Yes, thank you.
I did.
This is Steve Allen. He's a neighbor across from me.
Good morning.
Morning. I have tried in the past to avoid having to do this, but I've been advised that in order to get things moving, it's probably best if I get a warrant article with 24 signatures to ask for reclassification of Willand Road. And so I've drawn up this warrant article. I wanted you guys to look at it and see if it looks like something that is going to pass muster. Nobody signed it yet, but I don't want to go to the trouble of putting together a warrant article, making a request, and find out that there was something wrong with that request. And I will, through reading that, I'll go on and give you a little bit of background on the road so that I can find out from you guys if you're going to be in favor. There's nothing else to that. It's just blank paper for making sure it doesn't fall off the clipboard.
Excuse me.
So here's my reasoning behind wanting to change the reclassification, and as the warrant article states, it's just to change the reclassification to Class 5 recreational, which is exactly the same as Lang Pond Road is, meaning their town is not obligated to plow the road or do any winter maintenance whatsoever. That's my understanding of Class 5 recreational. Do you guys know any different?
I believe it's referred to as seasonal.
Seasonal, yeah, fine.
Recreational. And as I recall, that means no maintenance from, I think it's November 1st, April 1st.
Yeah.
It's a defined time period that it
Right.
doesn't get any maintenance, yeah. And I think that's a fair starting point. I've been on the road for 37 years. I have not signed any release. I have, along with Steve's help, we have maintained the road. We've done a number of improvements to the road over the 40 years. The road is in as good a shape as any gravel road in the town. Phineas Gray's comes to mind, and along with several others. There are 4 year-round residents on that road now, and all the subdivision that's taken place and all the building permits that have been granted have all come from the Selectmen's office over the past
Right.
70 years, I think, because a number of those properties were subdivided long before I got there. All of the people that live there work in the area. They all register their cars, and so there will be no, as my understanding is, there will be no immediate expense to the town to change the classification. Since there's not going to be any need for plowing, we're not requesting any plowing. We just think it's the first step in establishing a precedent, because I know there are a number of other people that live on Class 6 roads in town. I think if they can, I think the town needs a policy. It doesn't have a policy. And I'm giving them the opportunity to start down that road of a policy. And if they can point to somebody that's been on the road for 37 years, that's made improvements over that time, considerable improvements, and that now you have a population density that warrants reconsideration. That's the object I'm after. I'm not asking the town to spend any money. And I'm picking this time to do it because I've read in the paper that there are some other warrant articles to accept town, to accept roads as town roads. And those votes are going to have a direct impact on the town's costs, because those roads are going to immediately have to be plowed and maintained. And I'm reminding the selectmen and the townspeople that Willand Road is a town road. It's not debatable. The grades are less than on other current town roads that have a Class 5 designation. Canaan Valley Road has far greater grade than Willand Road. And the Willand Road, or I don't guess it's classified as Willand Road anymore, but Federal Corner Road that goes up to Camp William Lawrence has a grade comparable to the grade that on the other side. Now I'm asking for 2,640 feet to be reclassified, and this is completely legal because when Willand Road was classified as Class 6 back in 1921, I believe it was. Jackie can get you the information on that. There was a point where it was terminated as well. In fact, if you looked at it, Willand Road was supposed to be terminated only to the start of the property of Camp William Lawrence. But of course, once they started maintaining it, they turned around at Camp William Lawrence. So the bulk of the property that goes through Camp William Lawrence is now Class 6 road because it was not maintained. Even though it was supposed to have been, it wasn't, and so it has fallen into Class 6. So there's already a precedent for naming, the points of declassification, and therefore you can reason that there's a logic to.
So how far is it from that point to
What, right?
William Lawrence?
Well, it's from 38 Willand Road, which is my residence, to Camp William Lawrence, the buildings there on Camp William Lawrence. It's 1 mile. The area from the intersection of 171 to 38 Willand Road, which used to be my residence, but it's now in a trust and it's all to my kids, is exactly half a mile. So the entire length of Willand Road from 171 is a mile and a half. So, so any case, I think that should cover all the areas of, all the gray areas that you might have.
So does the 2,160?
2,640 feet.
2,640 feet. Does that cover everybody I think there are 4 residences up there. Is that,
Including my residence is 4 residents.
yeah.
And Steve has, and I both have equivalent frontage on Willand Road, about 1,800 feet. We both have both sides of the road. And I want to emphasize that both of us have been good stewards to all the other people that have been down the road. These are people that are unlimited means, and they really don't have it. And my fear is, and I don't know if Steve shares this or not, but by allowing building permits and people to settle in there, if you're not going to show some kind of responsibility in the end game, you're running the risk of creating strip slums. Because if people don't have the money to pay it, to keep it at a certain state, then they just start patching it. And before you know it, you have areas that, instead of having the multiple valuation increases that we've seen over 40 years, it starts to reverse, and it becomes a far more difficult thing to manage. So we think now's a good time to make a reasoned argument to the public at town meeting and to you that this is the proper course to take. But if this suits you, it designates the starting point and the ending point, designates the number of the number of footage, the footage length of the road is to be reclassified, and it states that the reclassification we're asking for is just recreational, which is my understanding of what Lane Pond was. Or I could change that to seasonal if you'd like, but seasonal maybe makes it a little bit more complicated. I don't know. I'm willing to change it. I haven't gotten any signatures. I've talked to a number of people on the road already, the Podsons and all the other abutters on the road, and everybody seems to be a Pods.
I thought Podson was beyond there.
No, he's actually he bought the Dow property, which is adjacent to mine, and goes all the way down to his property. And I think that they may be planning something in the future. It's speculation on my part, but I think they've got a totter.
They're residents. They can sign your petition.
Right, but I mean, it's also important that everybody that's on the road has the same interests. I wouldn't want to do this if there was somebody on the road that really was objected to it or something. At least want to know what their reasons for objecting were.
Yeah, we had mentioned to, was it Farm Pond Road?
Yeah.
Right.
When they give it, there are people there, just making sure that, he's selling land.
Yeah.
Was there a premise that it was going to be a private road, or was there any of that?
Yeah, well,
Sure. It was,
this is a different situation because it's a town road to begin
yeah,
with.
I
I would offer a suggestion, and that is, before you start running your petition, let's get the wording reviewed.
Yeah, that's
Okay, and I applaud you for coming in and saying, is this right? Because often we see petition articles that come in on the due date,
Yeah.
and there's a defect in the wording that means even if it's approved,
means nothing.
it doesn't mean anything, or it doesn't mean what they think it is. So
I could leave this with you. Do you have counsel that can review this stuff?
What we do is, you'd write something up, we're going to send it off to DRA, because they're the people that review it.
You want this to send it to them?
Sure. And then they'll tell us what
Yeah.
needs to happen.
Well, that's great.
I spent the weekend kind of thinking about, and I'm, just to throw my political position out there, I'm a firm believer that all Class 6 roads should be reclassified to Class 5, and that's where our development should be, not out in the backland. That said, I was thinking of proposing I didn't know you were looking for a camp road classification, but if we were going to go all the way into full-on Class 5, I think we do need a policy. I think the policy has to be, we have engineers look at the road, see what it needs, see what the upgrades are going to cost, so that we know going in exactly how much. I mean, I don't think William's gonna cost anything because they've spent all the money of their own on it. But we need to be able to say to the next party that comes in who's on a class 6, this is what we did with
Right.
those folks out on Willand Road. And that's the process. That's how you want to go. Because I suppose your reason to go for the seasonal road was,
Just an incremental step.
Just a step.
I do not want to, I'm very sensitive on how this is handled, because I know that there's probably a pretty good faction out there in town that doesn't want to see any building on class 6 roads whatsoever. And I don't want to deny anybody the opportunities that I've had. And I'd like to come up and through my actions demonstrate this is a precedent, and this is how perhaps it works, and perhaps this is a good way to go forward on as a policy.
Yeah.
But I don't object. I mean, I don't want to penalize myself by asking for too much and have it be rejected because it wasn't explained clearly enough.
I guess one of my concerns would be, I don't know who does the winter maintenance. I think it's probably you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I have Frank,
Trans
yeah, he does the sanding
So
for
you-
me.
okay, so you contract out the sand.
Yeah.
The plowing you're doing.
I do the plowing, but if I needed it, Frank would do it. But most of the time, I do the
Yeah, I
plowing.
just, I worry about, you dying in a plane crash, and then
Right.
the other 3 people that are living out there, now it becomes an issue.
That's why
So
I'm
do we-
doing this.
Do we need to go to a full-on class 5?
Well, my suggestion is, if that happens, then those residents can come to you and make that request. That, we've got a problem. And it would be something that you guys could, decide on your own. I'm gonna go ahead and let you make the call. If you want me to reword this so that it's class 5 designation without any caveats as to recreational or whatever, and then you decide that you're going to make it recreational, that's fine with me. So long as the public that's voting on it, because I guess it's gonna have to come up to town meeting, understands everything that we're doing and what we're trying to do, or what you're trying to do.
Right.
I don't have a problem with any of that. I just didn't want to be the one.
I'm thinking we've got Bergeron looking at the other end, the federal corner end, and Ledge Hill, whether or not, cursory examination of Willand would be appropriate. I mean, just so we can answer whatever questions are.
Not a bad idea.
We've got some work that's gonna happen on the
Yeah, I read about that.
William Lawrence
Yeah.
and the things. And then some other work that's gonna happen up on Ledge Hill. So we've
Yeah.
got, Bergeron Engineering, I'm looking at their bill. Looking at those for what sort of engineering requirements that we need. And I think we could probably get them down before the first of the year.
Well, it's gotta be tough because now the road is it's covered with snow. I mean, there's only one.
Until tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, maybe, but this is a north side road, so
Yeah.
it's not gonna be in the kind of condition that I would have thought.
I mean, are there culverts that need?
Yeah, the town actually put the largest culvert in probably 20 years ago. Reg Colby did. It was shortly after that, a really large rain that we had that washed it out. And the town spent money to put a very large culvert, and it's still there. And from what I understand, it's very good. There's another culvert down in between the houses at the lowest point of the road. It's a stone aqueduct.
Right.
So it's possible, I'm sure that if you were an engineer, you would say that
And
has
is
to
that
go.
within the 2,600
Yeah,
feet?
that is. That's probably 300 feet down
Okay.
from the start of Willand Road on 171. It's 300 feet down, and it's a stone aqueduct. But
Well, at the very least, let's have Jim go out,
Yeah.
take a look, see what, because personally, I would rather it just went to class 5 and we just end the paying.
Well, I
But
mean,
the other two, I mean, you may have a different opinion, Lloyd. What's your feeling on this?
I'm trying to listen. I think step one is, and you gentlemen are correct, is get DRA to make sure that the wording is proper. Because as he said, we've had some people that have good ideas and the substance is proper, but it doesn't pass the wording test. So
We've
that,
got a little bit of time on that.
yes, we,
Probably a
and
month and a half.
and we have to do that. DRA is not,
No, I know,
doesn't
okay,
serve
that's
them.
what's-
Sure. Let's give it a try.
But a month and a half before it's due, but we want him to have wording to work with to do his petition.
Right.
So you don't want to give it to him the day before and say, here,
yeah,
two
that would be
dozen
really
signatures
tough.
right
I know a lot of people, and
Yeah.
they're favorable, I suppose, but I don't like
I guess
that
my
kind of
concern
thing.
about turning it into a seasonal road is that classification is for roads that aren't used in the winter. And
Good point.
there is a provision for, I mean, there's an opportunity for people to make access through them, but the whole idea of the seasonal road is it's a summer road to camps, and that it doesn't, it's not used for regular traffic during the winter time. So I guess as I look at it, taking a half step and turning it into a seasonal road that then somebody's gonna do maintenance on in the winter time, at no cost to the town, is not where it's a year-round road. It's being maintained by the people that live on it because the town doesn't do maintenance on it anymore. So,
And we can easily work out the calculation for what adding a half a mile of dirt road is gonna cost on the road budget. I mean, I don't think we're talking about a significant increase in expenses. And I think if we
Well-
had a week or, when's our next meeting? 23rd?
23rd, yeah.
Yeah, you have a work session Friday and then, yeah, the 23rd. for
Yeah,
me.
I think between now and the 23rd, we could get some answers from Jim and then skip the wording that he needs for his,
Article.
and it may be that we can word the one article to say either or, class 5 or class 5 recreational. I don't know.
That's fine. And I'll speak for myself, if there is some cost to, you guys wanting to see certain things done prior to, I'd be willing to sign on for any kind of cost.
Well,
Either
we
I
could
write
do
a
the same
check or-
thing that you guys did at Zadi. I mean, if there's a major item that really has to be addressed,
It's a betterment easement.
then we just do a betterment easement every year, so.
Okay, but if there, yeah, that would be fine, but I still want to make sure that, I'm pretty sure, would you have an objection if they wanted to spend some money on
No.
seeing that done? Because I really don't want to go forward with this and burden people that, are on tighter budgets than we are.
I don't have a problem with them spending money on electrical road.
Right, I don't either, yeah.
You mentioned farm
I wish
pond.
they'd pave it again. I mean, I
Yeah,
drive
right.
on my driveway.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's busted.
You mentioned Farm Pond Road.
Yeah,
That's a road that was built to town specifications.
yeah.
And if it meets town specifications, the Supreme Court a number of years ago said the town has to accept it.
Yeah, I understand that, and that's fine, I don't have a problem with that. I was merely, I was going to make the argument that there are 2 year-round residents on that road, and that's a couple miles worth of road. I was up in there the other day, they're really nice houses, I can understand why they would be doing it, but I'm asking for far less than that. In fact, it's already a town road, I'm just asking for even less in terms of town liability.
There's every indication that there probably will be more residents on that.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So-
Yeah. And so anyway, okay, great. Well, I really appreciate the reception you guys have given me, and I'll just wait to hear from you.
Thank you for what
So
you
you're
did.
gonna leave us, or
Yeah.
did you keep it on?
It's right there.
give it to you as holiday. I'll give it to our
Have a nice
chairman.
holiday, gentlemen.
Yeah. you too.
Steve, you made that long trip down off the mountain, you wanna say
No,
anything?
I was moral support here.
Yeah. I wanted to show that we have a united front here.
Okay,
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
thanks. All right. Transfer station update, Clay Gallagher with his broken wing.
Fingers don't work as well as they.
Handing to me.
So, yeah.
I don't know workers' comp case coming out of this. Thanks.
Thank you.
Monthly totals for November.
Excuse me.
And the stapled sheet, you have the specific movements. And the second page is the monthly totals in comparison to last year, year to date. For November, we had 9 solid waste compactors, 13 CD containers, and 2 plastic containers. We also moved steel tin can 30-yard open top container. Don't have the cost for that yet, that's why I don't have an absolutely specific amount of revenue. Fluorescent bulbs we had picked up, almost 2,000 linear feet, and the cost there is $223. Freon propane pickup, scrap metal pickup, and a call to recycle shipment out of rechargeable batteries. The revenue through October, I'm sorry, it should be through November. You change that on F1F. Revenues through November are approximately 113,366 plus whatever the revenue we get for the steel and tin cans. Should be about $250, something like that. So we're in the $113,500 range. Last year at the same time was $87,188.
So about 26,000.
26,000 is a good. General info items, we're still in the process of trying to clear out prior to the heavy snows and get our, we have a couple pallets of lead acid batteries. Trying to coordinate the trucking pickup when we're open versus when we're closed. We need to get another scrap metal pickup, freon propane pickup. We just had the glass picked up, which is good because it's a 30-yard open top and the snow gets in there and we paying for snow weight versus glass. So we got that done, and a used oil vegetable oil pickup. In addition, we had 2 book drop containers dropped off last month, which I told you about, but I just reminded you again. And reminding the public, if they do have books or tapes, that we do the white containers to the left side of the swap shop are book containers, so they can drop something off there. And again, just repeating the per diem budget, we are going to go over a little bit on. We're pretty much right on the zeroed out right now, so if we use a few more days before the end of the year, we'll be over that. And the reason why we discussed before. The transfer station budget for 2020 is done through the Board of Selectmen Budget Committee and done through the CIP. We do have, I do owe the Budget Committee in mid-January. I will produce the avoided cost chart that I produced, and they wanted to see that. And we're also at the same time, we talked about an omnibus revisit of a couple lines in the budget for items that are going to be more than what we have in the budget forecast for this year. Specifically, the largest one is probably going to be the brush.
So when you do your avoided costs this time around, can we do the cash in and the avoided costs, break it up, so it isn't just one big number?
Cash in.
Well, you're taking money in for,
So that's in the revenue we have now.
right,
But
right.
my avoided cost thing is only,
Only the avoided
it's
costs.
only the avoided
Okay.
cost, doesn't include the cash.
All right. But let's include the cash into the report to the budget committee. So by the end of January or mid-January, you'll know exactly how much revenue you brought in.
Revenue and avoided costs, and I sum those two numbers. I'll get with you and
That's perfect.
talk personally about this stuff. And I think everything else is good. I have not heard anything about the doors. You know, we talked about in the maintenance and heating and electric budget, possibly using this year's, if we got, I don't know what the status is.
Jeff Walker said that he can do the doors for $3,000.
Right,
Are you
so
saying-
we have to have a contract or something?
If we're gonna encumber funds.
Right. I have not seen him or talked to him, so.
Well, let's make some phone calls, see if we can't get I'd rather do it out of encumbered money
Right,
as
absolutely.
opposed to
Right.
asking for more
And,
money.
and
Right.
depending upon schedule, you know, if he can do it this year, I mean,
Yeah.
let's do it.
He said he could not.
Yeah,
So, yeah, but if we get a contract, then we can take money that we have this year and allocate it to it. And
okay.
And do we have a firm number on a compactor? Because you're gonna ask for one of those in a warrant.
Yes, I don't have it with me,
Okay.
but we have, and I'll get an update.
Okay.
But the last update I got was about 2 months ago,
Right,
so that should be pretty accurate for a compactor replacement.
okay.
It appears to me like that is gonna be the item that, for the warrant articles that goes through.
That's all you get.
Is that right?
Or is that not?
That's
Well, we haven't discussed where we're going at this
We haven't
point,
talked about
right, but you had two,
right. Sign trailer,
Yeah, that's not happening.
No.
that's future, right?
okay,
What else?
and I had a compactor and, geez,
Was it the middle one that does paper?
No, this
a
is,
baler.
In the,
you did have you had a baler and a compactor.
Right,
Okay, the baler's still on,
I think it's on the CAP list.
yes.
so we need both of those numbers.
I have both of those.
Okay. And good for March, or whenever you're gonna spend the money,
Correct.
so just make sure that you're not seeing,
Oh, yeah, a forecast would say, we aren't gonna do it before March, but we wanna do it right after it's approved.
yeah, that sounds good.
I had a couple questions. Has Stantec submitted a bill yet for their work this year?
No, not that, I don't have the last half of the year yet. I need to call Hallmark and make sure he gets that.
The other thing is the board going to put that out to bid?
We said we were, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
so we were.
When do we plan on doing that?
Well, do they do any of their testing in the winter, or is that,
No, they do it in October, November,
okay, so we
And
can,
then
and then
they,
you do it in the spring.
yeah, like
so we need
April.
to get somebody like Larry Gill in
And
there.
Larry's put together some proposed wording. He's had some conversations with people, including DES.
Yeah,
We have the new license came in, and whatever we do in terms of RFP ought to refer to the license, because it specifies what has to be sampled and when reports are due.
Correct.
And those items are all things that whoever's gonna do the work is gonna,
And again, my recommendation is that the testing for the landfill should be separate from
The seepage.
any kind of seepage issues or problems. That should be an item that stands on its own,
right.
okay? Just for multiple different reasons. If there's other issues, that should be worked separate. We talked about that when we talked about setting up a committee, you know, to deal with
And do you see a problem with having the same company do both sets of tests?
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's,
All right, so we can bifurcate it, make it two different programs.
you know, I really, other than, you know, some small little minor billing problems, I have no problem with,
Santec.
with who we have, and that's just been,
And it isn't.
and it's a function of when the sampling is done to how long it takes them to get, you know,
And it
their
isn't,
administrator.
just so, and you can say this with absolute authority, we're gonna put things out to bid, even if we love the people that are currently doing
Absolutely.
it. I mean,
Yeah.
we have to.
Yes,
I mean, that's just a fiduciary
Well, it's
responsibility.
it's just like waste management, you
It's
know?
a town report.
Right, we're gonna go to,
I'm right in your,
So
I
it's not
agree with
like
you
we're
100%.
Dissing Santec, we just need to.
no,
Exactly.
it's just like our household solid waste. I mean, we go to Casella, we go to anybody that's interested in performing that function every 4 or 5 years to make sure that we're getting the best
Right,
bang for the buck.
right,
So,
okay,
no one's nose should get,
certainly hope not.
you know, so.
If it does, well, so well.
Well, quite frankly, it's like every 5 years, we should go back to bid for auditors, and we should change our laws. It's just like you say, it's good, it's good business.
I don't have any locks. Okay, anything else, any issues up there at the transfer station?
No.
Swap shop's still closed?
Still closed, everything's good. We've had our first couple, you know, snow plowing, and getting
Buildings
ready
are
for the
safe.
winter. Trying to get everything prepped up. And the least amount of stuff we have, the easier it is to maintain in the wintertime.
Right.
You know, if you got 10 tons of scrap metal spread out all over the place, it's kind of hard to clean around it, so, without getting too much snow weight, so. But I do want to remind everybody that it is a large area and it does get icy, so no matter how much we salt and sand, it's still can be slippery, so. Well done now,
You
this
didn't
was
slip
awkward.
on the job.
No,
I know
no,
that.
this was,
That's your other job.
that was my dog.
Yeah.
I gotta come up with a better story.
You do?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Terrorists. Anything else for Clay?
No, thank you for your service, have a nice holiday.
All right.
And next item for the agenda is the 4290 emergency management budget. So we need to have Adam here.
He's here. He's in the other room.
What's he doing?
Blowing his nose.
That's Joe. Yeah, I'm going to have him here. So it's gone $10,000 in 5 years.
All set for you, Adam?
Good morning.
Morning, Chief. How are you this morning? Good.
Have a good one.
That's the big equipment. Is this a prayer meeting or are you gonna start?
Totally up to you.
All right, so. Do we wanna go line by line? I mean, it seems like it's pretty straightforward until you get to equipment.
Right,
Yep.
however you want to do it.
That is the explanation as far as equipment.
Okay.
That
So-
is-
Defibrillators?
It is the equipment as far as any type of replacement pads, batteries, and we buy one semi-automatic defibrillator each year, because each year we have, it seems like that we have one that fails, or cannot be repaired as far as it goes. So we keep one in stock for that replacement. That particular unit is $1,295 plus another $50 for an extended life battery, which is 7 years.
So we have this equipment now and it's all obsolete, is that?
No.
We don't have
This, we have 14 defibrillators.
Okay,
Those 14 defibrillators need to be serviced every year as far as keeping them, batteries go dead,
great.
pads go out of date as far as it goes. The pads don't stay with the unit for life. They have a date on them that they have to be taken out of service. So we go through, we try to keep an inventory of what we have, what is going to be going out of.
So this is parts for the defibrillator?
Yeah, it's just stuff that we do to them every year as far as that goes.
But it's twice as much as we did last year.
No, it's half as
No,
much.
it's half as much.
So in
I'm
2018, you
I'm on the
spent,
wrong one.
Yes.
No, I'm not.
2018, you spent $6,200, right?
Yeah,
We've only spent $1,186 so far this year.
right, but the year's not over.
Okay. I got 2
Again,
weeks to-
the year's not over, and I can't spend any more money from my budget because generators are already over as far as repair wise, and I haven't got the big generator repaired. It's on its way to Londonderry right now for them to tear the front half of the generator off to find out what is wrong with the fuel
Why it isn't
unit,
working, yeah.
why it isn't working. They're going to give me estimates on, once they figure that out, if it can be repaired fairly cheaply, if a newer unit is what we need to look at, a lease, whatever it is, I don't know right now. The unit's not functioning.
This is the one that went to the school.
Yes. Yes.
So you don't feel that the $1,428 you have left?
I'm telling you right
It's gonna
now
make the-
is that the Lakes Region bill was 1,700 and,
Okay, so you've already spent this money.
yeah, the money is gone.
All right.
We had a repair on the generator at Central Station. It was $1,250. This generator out here got serviced in January, which was $150 as far as the service. So as far as the money for generator wise, that's gone. I'm not gonna spend any more money from emergency management until I know what's going on with the generator, because that money is gonna have to go for repairs, as well as
So
probably come from somewhere else.
The $3,250 that you've got here on your ask, you got EOC town office, the emergency 75 kW model.
Yep.
How much of the 3,250 is for the town office?
The town office generator usually costs about $150 as far as
Okay, so-
servicing wise.
I guess my question is, do we want to put $3,000 on that line item and find out that the generator's junk? And we gotta put a warrant article together to get a new generator.
Well, within a week or 10 days, you're gonna have the answer
Right,
on the bid.
it's something that's gonna have to be revisited, I assume, as far as generator wise. This was, I had not turned this budget in because I was waiting to find out, what was going on, and I was told that it needed to be in by Friday for you for today. And that's why that you just got.
That's what we have, yeah.
So basically, we've paid Milton Cat $1,278.49 for the generator that had an issue at the fire station this year. We paid Thompson's Electric $150 for the service of this, which is routine.
So that's,
And we have not had the routine service done at the fire station generator yet.
And how much is that?
That's usually somewhere around $800.
So you're still within budget.
I'm within budget right now, with not, because I have not spent this grant and hazard mitigation planning. That particular item I was going to carry over for when the plan had to be, the hazardous mitigation plan needed to be done next year. But I just entered that into the budget again and felt that, carrying over obviously isn't gonna be the case this year, because it's probably gonna have to go towards fixing one of the generators. But right now, no, we're not overspent and,
We have several new generators
yeah.
in town. This doesn't include any,
No, because I was told that those were all gonna fall under those particular buildings. I don't know how true that is, but initially I was gonna plan to have all the generators fall under one line,
Mhm.
but then I was told that it would fall under that particular building, section, so you tell me.
I thought we decided they were all gonna be under emergency management.
Somebody's talking out of school.
Yeah,
I have never been told otherwise as far as that it needs to.
I think Jack was the one who said it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see his
The fourth selectman behind the closed door there. What we're talking about.
If those new generators were to be included in this budget here, do you have an estimate of what it would be, or did you have to give it some thought?
I don't have an estimate because I don't know who's gonna maintenance them, I don't know who's doing what with them. As far as, is it going to be, hello?
Here he is.
125 apiece,
Okay, how many are there?
3 more,
3 more generators?
highway, townhouse, and transfer station.
And they were installed by Scott Thompson?
Correct.
So $400.
Jack, who's that through? Is that gonna be through Scott or?
Scott, yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind Jack running the deal. I just.
Because this is the only one that's really in EOC, that's why this one's under emergency management.
Right.
The other ones are for the buildings. They have nothing to do with emergency management, that's why.
Well,
That's why.
the one at the station does, because
Yeah,
that's
that
where
one
the
does,
EOC
yeah, yeah.
is.
right.
That one is, but yeah.
And this is the backup right
Right.
now. This is the backup.
If there's an election, there's no power, that's an emergency. If there's
Well,
an
there
ice
is
storm
generators,
and
but-
there's no power,
I mean, if it,
emergency at the highway. department.
Here's the benefit that I see to having it all
In one place.
Okay, you got, it's emergency power for all of these town buildings to help us function. Yeah, you got the operations center, but that's the reason that the generator's here. Having it all funneling through one point of contact makes sense to me with respect to that.
Yeah, and it's only adjusting the budget by 400. And it's too bad that you won't know by tomorrow night what that 75 kW.
no, it's on its way there now.
So you may know.
No, it all depends on when they get torn into, to that, as far as it goes.
So if it's going down today, the likelihood that they're gonna have it torn down by tomorrow and have a number is.
It's not-
Yeah, so I mean, I'd be more likely to say that we'd keep the generator budget at 2,000, and that covers normal maintenance. You're talking about a major deal with this other generator. We may have to replace it.
Right.
So that's more than normal maintenance.
Is there money in the current budget to do all of the outline generators, or do we need to add $400 to a particular line?
No, if you put $400 onto the 16 that he had there last year, that's $2,000.
Something's wrong with this whole, this is not what I turned in for, this was in my box. I have $3,250 on the generators.
Yeah, that's what's showing.
That's what I have.
Oh,
I was looking at, excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong line.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah, that's too much,
okay.
I think.
I think that if,
I mean, you
I
spent
think that
14.
I think that I've been taught as far as, we haven't had to do anything to the generator besides routine maintenance.
Right.
And that's what they asked me as far as when I was talking to them. They said, is the generator a money pit? And I'm like, no, we hadn't had to do anything until it has to be repaired. If you're okay with a line item going over in the future, because of, there's not enough money in there for, as far as repair, then fine, I'll go ahead with that. But I don't wanna constantly go over, every year, and have someone come back and say, hey, why did you let that happen?
Right. Well, you spent year-to-date $1,400. So let's say you had to do the other 2 or 3.
Well, I have another 1,700 here
Okay,
for the work that they did with the generator at Lakes Region Fire
this
Apparatus.
is a 75K generator?
Yes.
So we already had $1,700 into that deal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was to get it, running for like 15 seconds at a time period and find out that it's a deeper situation. There was some issues with it anyways, but
How
that
old
didn't
is this
solve.
generator?
2003.
Yeah. So
But it
it's-
only has 225 hours on
16
it.
years old.
Right, but it doesn't have the.
Sometimes it's better off running the thing all the time.
True.
Well,
Especially
I
these.
remember the county complex ran into a problem with their generator.
Right.
It was, I don't think it had lots of hours on it, but it was old, and they ended up putting a new one in
Well,
because,
the mice ended up.
whatever it was, I mean, there were issues there that
I mean, and we haven't even talked about exploring the notion, I mean, it's an emergency generator, there's
Right.
grants out there.
No, I've already looked into the grant. There is a 50-50 matching grant, obviously, but that's all. I need to know what is going on
Right.
with this particular unit before I can.
Well, if you spend
Broach that.
$1,700 now, and you spend another $5,000 on
Right.
it, you still have the same old used generator.
Right.
You got $6,700.
And how much, the other thing is, how much does this particular generator have in it for equity,
Right,
for a
it's ours.
trade-in? But it's all stuff that I can't tell you today because I don't know what's wrong with it, in the long run. I do understand that that particular generator has not, there's upgrades in the wiring harnesses and things like that. It's never had any of that because it didn't need it at whatever point in time, so I don't know what's.
I mean, we wanna hold off on this budget for another week
I move we table,
and get some more information, because I'm.
if there's anybody's gonna get the information, it is he.
Right.
I don't want to inflate the lines on a guess as far as
Well, I don't wanna inflate the lines and have you spend good money after
bad money.
bad money.
right.
I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So once you find out the repair cost,
Yep.
then figure out what a new one costs, and what that
Right.
one's worth.
Yep.
And then if it's a 50-50 grant out there, then what's 50% of the
Right, of
the
what
difference?
whatever the difference is as far as what is out there.
Right,
I just would like a little bit more time to get it,
yeah. I mean, if.
more information. I don't want to come in and hit you today going, I don't know.
Right. If during the course of the winter, we find ourselves in need of that 75K,
Right.
I mean, that's another issue you're gonna have to be proactive on
Yeah.
and working to get one delivered.
Yep.
We're at one.
So moved.
And
All right, seconded.
but before anything is done to it major wise,
Don't spend any more money.
right, I'm hoping that I can come to you and
Yeah.
say, this is what I'm facing, so
Yeah.
you can bring it before the
Excellent.
board.
Excellent.
Right. Right, yeah,
Yeah.
don't spend a whole lot on money,
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
All right. And I'll bring this to the budget committee, I think it's tomorrow night, and tell them what we're doing, just so they know. So we're
Terrific.
not just sitting on our hands.
Yep, no,
Did anybody, how was that accident caused yesterday up at the?
someone went through the stop sign.
Yeah. Really? Can you forward this on to Michael Cryans, executive counselor? You know, remind him that the DOT was asking for a human sacrifice at that intersection. We've come pretty close.
Oh my.
They didn't die, did they?
No, they got transported to the hospital.
Be a roundabout in there.
Oh, we got
a
it.
couple places.
Just a flashing light,
Flashing light, right.
Jesus, anything. I mean, I thought, you know, and I apologize for saying this, but I've often thought Lloyd was just making up stories. But I actually drove up to that intersection not more than a month ago, and a lady in an SUV just roared right through,
Right.
going up towards Durgan Road. I mean, it's just crazy.
Point of order.
Go ahead.
I vote in favor of tabling.
Oh, I seconded that, right? Okay.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
On this here, I make a motion, the selectmen ask the police chief to please supply the statistics that we need to go to the next step.
We already did that.
Did he?
Last
We
week.
did
Oh,
that.
we did that, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I know that
It's
Tom
been
took
since
some
October.
pictures also yesterday, but,
Yeah, we'll remind him.
Yep.
He was there, was someone from our police
Yes,
department was there.
yeah, Tom said, officer said. He did take pictures also.
My wife saw it, she couldn't figure out what was going on. She thought she was watching
Well,
The Highway Through Hell on the Weather Channel.
this vehicle was leaking gas, pouring gasoline.
Oh, nice.
That's why the tub is there. So once the tow trucks got there, we shut everything down in all directions, obviously, because there's no chance that a vehicle that's in the line, they're all gonna turn the same way. So we got four ways, we've got trucks and tow trucks and all that stuff, and when this truck, we flipped it over, we didn't know if it was gonna spark and light it off. But it didn't, luckily, and that's why the hose line was charged, and there's people on the end of it once they get.
It's not your first rodeo at that
No.
intersection.
We've been very lucky that someone hasn't been.
Right. Well, we feel that's lucky, but unfortunately.
I mean, when you have people that say, I've been going through here for 6 months, and I never
stopped.
realized that there was a stop sign there.
What?
Not this one, but in the past, yes.
You can't fix stupid. Okay, anything else, chief?
I have, the company's supposed to be there today in reference to, I got an email that said that they were gonna be there by 11 o'clock for the furnace. So,
Okay.
fingers crossed. That's the only thing that I have left in general government buildings that, and that's ready to go.
Right,
For when it comes down.
good.
The electrical in all the buildings, the heat in all the buildings. I have a breakout of what it actually has cost, so that there shouldn't be a huge amount of questions with that. Repairs are, hit or miss with the different buildings.
It's a lot of moving parts, thank you.
But thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you for your understanding of the
Yeah.
emergency management.
Thank you. We're
Thank
gonna
you, Chief.
move on to the signature file. The first one is, I thought we already hired Jennifer Coulter. What happened?
That's just a technicality.
Did she
Everybody's
get fired and
signature.
a new hire again?
No, it's just a.
I have to re-sign the request for change in employment. Well, give her a raise already?
Thank you.
No, the change is crossed out.
Okay. All right. Anyway. So,
Okay.
good to meet you.
I'll move approval.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And it's only one, I think.
Yep.
Chairman board. No, it is you too, I'm sorry. The next is a tax relief for veteran. Permanent application for property tax credit exemption for a veteran. No, elderly, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that one's veterans, yeah. They weren't eligible for.
Oh, they're not?
Yeah, I put a little recommendation on the bottom of the first page. On the right.
As applicant meets all criteria, I recommend awarding $500 standard veterans credit effective to 2020 tax year.
I'll move approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Selectmen's updates. Got anything to tell us, Bill?
Let's see. Yep, no, Ag Commission meets tomorrow. Anybody interested, come on down. That's all I have.
What?
I already commented about accidents reports. In the past year, Dennis moved his office upstairs and it seems to have worked out very well. And I noticed the cemetery, in the cemetery minutes, they talked about having a workspace where they can file things and whatnot. What I've done is I've gone to Staples and gotten prices for what it would cost up there. I have one more estimate, and I'd like to be able to submit that at our next meeting.
Okay.
My thought is that if we can make some space available up there, and they still use it for Christmas and all that, it's just the next step. Thank you.
Okay. I went to the library building meeting. I don't want to take all the credit, but I'm going to take all the credit. They are going to do a full commissioning on the building. The commissioning agent is coming up, I think this week, to start looking at systems. You should walk around. You must have been in.
No, I haven't been in the back part yet.
Yeah, you should go around.
I have been.
It's like the typical country house. It looks small on the outside, it's big on the inside. Tax collectors.
It's gonna be nice.
But it's, yeah, it's coming along well. They've got the sheetrock almost all done. The heat should change over sometime next month. So, and they're all within budget. There's talk of replacing the cupolas. They've got a weather vane that was given to them. So they'd like to have some place to put it. Budget meeting went pretty well. And Gordon was in on Friday watching us, and I think it was because of the personnel administration. I just wanted to see where that number was going to shake out. I don't know why they have this fear, but they do, that the budget's going to blow up, but it isn't. And I'm going to, hopefully between now and tomorrow night, do some totals. I know we haven't finished, and we don't have a couple of budgets, or 3 or 4 budgets left. But if I just take the numbers that we had last year on those budgets and add 2% or whatever, I can get a general idea what the operating budget's going to look like. And then we verified with Clay on the compactors, but this generator might throw a little bit of fly-in ointment. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
It's a balancing act.
something we'll have to work on. That's about it. Any other business?
I got a question. As for Bill, I was a little confused last week, and maybe it might fall under Karen. When I was looking at the web pages about the planning board, it states, say, as like 7 to 8 planning board, then from 8:30 to 10, it's canceled. So the cancel word was thrown all the way around. So finally, it came down to December 5th, no meeting at all. But I was just confused between the wording on the webpage, and I didn't know exactly what was going on. There was no meeting last week, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, I got it right. Because
So there was a problem with the,
I don't do that, Leanne.
with the wording on the webpage?
yeah, it comes up 2 planning boards for the same night. It says, okay, we start at 7, continue. Oh, and by the way, 8:30 to 10 o'clock, it's canceled. That's what has been on there. I just wanted to bring that to your attention,
Okay.
that's all.
Entry error, yeah. Can you please do the green folder?
why. What on earth could be in here? Selectmen revisit Tuesday meetings. No. So at 12:30, on the 13th at 9 AM, we've got a 19 Mile Brook study meeting going on with Norman Dew, who feel as though they don't need a projector and don't want any people to show up. So by all means, if you're not doing anything on the 13th, come on down. The more the merrier.
Would this room be able to handle those people? Or should we have it at the fire station?
I don't know how many people are gonna show up. I'm not
I
sure.
think we're fine here.
Okay.
I'm not sure David Ford and Linda Murray are gonna be of any help to us. Are we inviting them? No? I mean, we're gonna get the report, we don't need to editorialize.
I have no problem with it.
Before we have a chance to look at it. So, okay.
And,
Okay.
and my understanding is this is just a preliminary presentation. They're gonna,
Right.
we're gonna sit down and talk about it, and based upon any thing that comes up at the meeting, they will then finalize the report and make a final presentation, is that correct?
However,
And we'll gladly share all the information.
one of the
we want.
issues to be discussed, or at least I'm gonna discuss it, is the incompleteness of the report.
October.
Yeah.
Did we have it, you guys had a chance to read Larry Gill's
Yes.
proposed RFP?
Yep. So I'm not ready to put it out. I think he'd be happy to come in, yeah, and chat with
Well,
us.
let's do that.
Have them come in?
Yeah, let's do it in January. We've got plenty left to do there in December. Yeah,
That's just more for
already knew that. Already knew this too. Was there a secret in here that I missed, Karen?
Nope.
I got it, all right.
Yeah.
Any other business?
A couple of things of information, but they're not public.
Yeah. No, I think he's talking about it here,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, we'll make sure that our staff has the professional development course and programs available to them, so they can become more professional. All right, I'll entertain a motion to, whatever we call it.
I'll move we adjourn.
I'll second. All those, do you have something else, or
There's some information we wanted to discuss.
in there?
Yes.
What?
No, in the manila folder.
I'm not talking about that.
Non-public.
Well, we gotta adjourn this meeting first.
No, we would go into non-public before adjournment.
Right.
All right.
I didn't see anything that needed,
I didn't either, but I guess we can do this. All right. So the only thing in here is legal. So I'll make a motion that we go into non-public 91A, colon, 3, Roman numeral 2, letter L.
second,
Wood, yes.
Marcus, and yes.
Have a nice holiday.
Thank you.